I cleared 4 feet 8 inches in my first high jump competition as a freshman in high school. It was a junior varsity co-ed meet, and I'm not ashamed to say that I lost to girls in my first competition. Fast forward just 3 years later, I jumped 7 feet in high school, won the state championship, and broke the state meet record, and also signed a Division I scholarship to Auburn University. So what changed? Not my genetics, not my natural talent, and definitely not the coaching I had access to. What changed was understanding one fundamental truth that most high school athletes and their parents don't realize. High jump isn't about arching your back or being naturally athletic. It's about a specific approach and mental framework that 99% of high school athletes and their parents don't apply. Today, I'm a 3-time Team USA high jumper, 5-time NCAA All-American, 4-time SEC Silver Medalist, and also ranked among the top 30 high jumpers in the world. But what's more important is that I've helped high school athletes just like yours make 3 to 6 inches of improvement in the high jump in months, not years. If your athlete is stuck at a plateau watching others get recruited while they're overlooked, if they're struggling with confidence when attempting bars that are above their PR, if you're frustrated seeing their talent go to waste without proper guidance, this will be the most important message you ever hear. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how high school high jumpers make that leap from average to elite, and how it can be the difference between parents paying full tuition for their child out of pocket for them to attend college versus them getting a full ride college scholarship for their high jump performance. Right now, you're probably thinking, this sounds promising, but my athlete's situation is different. Maybe they don't have access to facilities. Maybe you've tried personal trainers who claim they can help. Or maybe you're wondering how online coaching can work for something as technical as high jump. I get it. I've heard these same concerns from other parents who are now inside of the program, watching their athletes break school records, jump personal bests, and receive college recruitment letters. What if I told you that the constraints that you think are holding your athlete back, like limited practice time, no specialized coaching, other sports, or inadequate facilities, are exactly what I've designed my program to overcome? What if those perceived limitations aren't the real barriers to your athlete's success? The parents who worked with me initially had the same doubts that you might have right now. They questioned whether online coaching could work, whether the investment would pay off, whether their athlete was natural enough to improve significantly. Today they're texting me videos of their athletes jumping heights that they never thought possible and sending me screenshots of coaches emailing them. Let me tell you how I know this works, because I've lived it. At 15, I was a freshman who couldn't even make the basketball team, and I only tried high jump because my older brother did it. And to be honest, I just wasn't very good. I was the kid everyone overlooked, but I was determined to figure it out. I studied the sport and I experimented nonstop, trying whatever I could. But what truly changed everything, though, was my parents. They saw how much I was struggling, and they saw how much potential my older brother had in the high jump. So they invested in high jump coaching for us. My older brother was already a state champion, so it was only right that they, see to his potential and try and get him the help that he needs. They didn't want to leave me behind, which I'm very grateful for. So they allowed me to tag along and also receive the same coaching as my older brother did. That investment in getting real access to specialized coaching was when I finally started to see progress and make true leaps forward. It wasn't anything my high school coaches told me, like arch your back or just get your hips up. That's what most people focus on, but it's not what actually works. My progress was remarkable. Freshman year, 4 feet 8 inches. Sophomore year, 5'10". Junior year, 6'3". Senior year, 7 feet. So from freshman to sophomore year, I improved by 14 inches. From sophomore to junior year, I improved by 5 inches. From junior year to senior year, I improved by 9 inches. The senior year transformation was the most dramatic. I opened the season jumping 6'6", and I incrementally improved throughout the season. I went 6'6", and I went 6'8", then I went 6'10", then I went 7 feet. With the season that I had, I ended up breaking the Alabama state meet record, being ranked number 1 in the state and number 8 in the nation. Since then, I've become a 5-time NCAA All-American, 4-time SEC Silver Medalist, 3-time Team USA member, and 2-time Team USA captain, and also being ranked top 30 in the world in the high jump. I've improved my personal best to 7 feet 5 inches and qualified for the Olympic trials. But my achievements aren't why you should trust me. It's the transformations I've created for high school athletes just like your child. I had an athlete, Keelan, went from 6 feet to 6'6" in 2 months. Daniel improved from 6'7" to 6'10" in 1 month. Jackson went from 6 feet to 6'3" in 2 weeks. And Jaden went from 6 feet to 6'7" in a year. And hundreds more who've broken personal records, school records, and qualified for state championships. many who started out without access to a dedicated high jump coach. I've personally coached thousands of athletes online over the past 7+ years and seen the results of my methods firsthand. Now I've distilled everything that I've learned into a comprehensive system that allows athletes to get results consistently regardless of their starting point. So let's talk numbers, the undeniable mathematics that your athlete's high jump performance is actually worth. The average annual cost of college tuition, fees, and room and board is $25,587 for in-state students at public universities and $53,217 at private universities. Multiply that by 4 years, and we're talking $101,948 to anywhere between $212,868 in total college costs. Now here's what most parents don't realize. High jump is one of the most scholarship accessible events in track and field. Why? Because few schools have proper coaching for it, which leaves the event wide open for your child to actually secure some scholarship. Here's the reality of high jump recruitment. 6'4" gets you on the college coach's radar, and 6'10" and above is a full scholarship at potential major programs. The difference between your athlete jumping 6 feet to 6'6" isn't just 6 inches. It's the difference between being overlooked and getting recruited. The difference between 6'6" and 6'10" isn't just 4 inches. It's potentially having $100,000 in scholarship money. These are opportunities that investing in my program give your family. But the investment isn't just about money. It's about the confidence your athlete will gain by breaking through barriers, the joy of watching them succeed after struggling, the life lessons in discipline, persistence, and mental toughness, the doors that will be opened with college opportunities. Every day you wait to make this investment is another day your athlete is stuck in the same situation, and other athletes who have the proper guidance are getting recruited by college coaches. Let me address the most common concerns I hear from parents considering my program. My athlete's current coach says he needs to just get stronger in the weight room. While strength is important, I've seen 6 feet tall basketball players throw down some of the craziest dunks, but when you put them out on a high jump apron, they can't even get over heights as small as 5'6". Meanwhile, I've coached so-called average athletes to clear 6'6" in a high jump by using proper technique. The truth is that high jump is 90% approach and 10% in the air. Your athlete can squat 500 pounds and have a 50-inch vertical, but still not jump even above 5'10" in a high jump. The strongest jumpers aren't always the highest jumpers. The highest jumpers are the ones with the best technique. Parents also say we don't have access to a pit for regular practice. I designed my program specifically for athletes with limited access to facilities. My approach focuses on drills that can be done anywhere, in a gym, on a track, and even in your backyard. The mental work, approach practice, and many technical drills require minimal equipment. Several of my most successful athletes practice on an actual high jump pit 1 to 2 times per week, yet consistently improve because they understand what to focus on when they don't have access. They also ask, how could online coaching possibly work for high jump? This is why my program combines 3 essential elements: course content, a community, and live calls. Through our video analysis, I can identify technical issues that most in-person coaches miss. I've analyzed thousands of jumps and can spot the tiny details that make the difference between clearing a bar and knocking it off. Parents are often amazed of how much I can see and correct through video review. Plus, our live calls 3 times a week provide real-time feedback so I can critique your athlete's film live on the call and answer any questions that they need or any problems that they're facing in the high jump. Some of the information that my athletes get on these calls is information they're not even getting from their in-person coaches. Some parents may say, we've tried personal trainers before and didn't see results. I understand this frustration. Many personal trainers are excellent at strength and conditioning, but know nothing about high jump technique. They focus on making your athlete do 2 feet standing vertical jumps, which has nothing to do with high jump. High jump is about converting horizontal speed to vertical lift through precise technique. My program isn't just about making your child a better overall athlete, although that happens too. It's specifically designed to make him a better high jumper through techniques proven to add inches to his high jump. Sometimes parents say, we should wait until next season when he has more time. I hear this often and it sounds reasonable on the surface, but here's the reality. The best time to start is always now, and here's why. The techniques I teach don't require massive time commitments. Many of my athletes spend just 3 to 4 hours a week on specific high jump training. More importantly, college recruitment doesn't wait. Coaches are making decisions now. Scholarships are being allocated now, and other athletes are improving now. Every meet your son competes in without proper technique eliminates an opportunity for him to catch a coach's eye. Parents even say, I don't have money for a sports coaching program. When viewed as just a sports program, I completely agree. But that's not what this is. This is an investment in your child's future that can potentially return them a $100,000 scholarship. Even if we ignore the scholarship potential, the mental toughness, the discipline, the preparation and planning that your child will learn will reflect in all areas of their life and serve them for a lifetime well beyond their athletic career. Let's address the biggest myth in high jump, that success depends primarily on natural ability, genetics, and athletic gifts. This myth is so widely believed that it prevents so many athletes from reaching their full potential in the high jump. Let me tell you about 2 athletes that I've worked with. The first, Michael, was 6 feet 2 inches tall. He could dunk a basketball with ease, and his coaches always told him that his athletic ability would allow him to be a great high jumper just because he could dunk the ball easy. The second, Andreas, was 5'10", had never been considered particularly athletic, and could barely touch the basketball rim. No one expected much from him in the high jump. Here's what was happening with Michael before he worked with me. Michael was plateaued out at 5'10", because despite his natural gifts, that wasn't what was going to get him over the bar. He relied on those gifts instead of developing proper technique. Andreas, on the other hand, we studied the high jump approach, we practiced the visualization techniques, and within 1 season was clearing 6'4", which is 5 inches higher than his own height and 6 inches higher than the so-called natural athlete and Michael, who had plateaued before working with me. The truth is that high jump success depends far more on body mechanics, approach and takeoff angles, and positions at takeoff. It doesn't depend on things like how tall you are, your standing vertical jump, natural athletic ability, and weight room numbers. It doesn't. The athletes that have breakthroughs in the sport are those that understand that high jump is a technical skill that can be learned and not a natural ability that you're either born with or you're not. It's time to completely reframe how you think about high jump development. Most people view high jump like this. An athlete needs to arch their back more, jump higher vertically, and get stronger in the weight room to clear higher bars. Progress is unpredictable, inconsistent, and heavily dependent on natural ability. But what if we looked at high jump completely different? Since high jump is 90% approach and 10% in the air, that would mean the majority of all focus that we put on the event should be focused on the ground. High jump improvement isn't random. It's all about the approach and its variables. Approach angle, approach speed, the ability to maintain momentum as you're coming through the curve. When all of these things are optimized, higher jumps become inevitable, not lucky. I've broken down high jump into a system that can be taught and learned by anyone. This perspective changes everything. Instead of hoping for improvement, we engineer it. Instead of sporadic breakthroughs, we create consistent progress. Instead of relying on natural ability, we follow proven principles. Let me give you a concrete example. Most coaches tell their jumpers to get their hips up or arch their back more. These cues focus on what happens in the air, which the jumper has no control over after leaving the ground. Instead, I teach athletes to focus on everything that they do on the ground in order to generate rotation over the bar. Everything that you do on the ground will determine what happens in the air. This isn't just a different technique. It's a fundamentally different principle on what high jumping actually is. This perspective is what allows my athletes to make breakthroughs that seem impossible to traditional coaches. When you reframe high jump as a technique-focused event and not just a test of natural ability, consistent improvement becomes not just possible, but predictable. Let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Every meet your athlete competes in with improper technique is actively costing them opportunities. Every time they knock the bar off at a height they could be clearing, a coach crosses their name off the list. Every day they continue training without proper technique is another day that they're falling behind. Every season that passes without significant improvement reduces their chances of earning a scholarship. I know this sounds harsh, but consider the actual numbers. According to NCAA data, only about 3% of high school track athletes earn college scholarships. The average high school jumper improves less than 2 inches per year. College coaches typically need to see 3 consistent performances at recruitment level heights. Now here's the most painful truth. This isn't happening because your athlete just lacks talent or effort. It's happening because they don't have the right guidance. Think about it. Would you expect someone to be great in calculus without a qualified math teacher? Yet many parents expect their athletes to excel in a highly technical event like the high jump with coaches who barely take the time to coach their high jumpers because they are too busy running off with the sprints or the hurdles. Here's the uncomfortable truth you need to confront. You believe in your athlete's potential, yet you may be allowing them to continue on a path that pretty much guarantees they won't reach their potential. You would never knowingly limit your child's future, but not providing them with specialized coaching in this critical period, that may be exactly what's happening. This isn't about assigning blame. Most parents simply don't realize how specialized high jump coaching needs to be. They trust that school coaches can provide adequate guidance in all events. But now that you know more, continuing to allow your athlete to remain in their current situation becomes an act of choice. A choice to accept limited progress when significant breakthroughs are possible. The question isn't whether your athlete can jump higher. The question is whether you'll give them the tools and guidance they need to do it. The high jump blueprint isn't just a collection of tips and tricks. It's a comprehensive system with 3 core components that work together to transform your athlete's athletic performance. Here's exactly how we implement this transformation. Phase 1, mindset shift. We begin by completely reframing your athlete's high jump philosophy. During this phase, we focus on creating personalized vision boards, strategic goal setting, teaching proper journaling and preparation, and implementing proven mental techniques for competition. Your athlete will attend weekly mindset coaching calls where we'll address limiting beliefs and install the psychological framework that separates elite jumpers from the rest. Phase 2, high jump technique. Once the mental foundation is established, we dive deep into technical mastery. This includes mastering each of our high jump drills, submitting videos for analysis so that I can give feedback, and consistently tracking your athlete's technical progress. During this phase, your athlete will submit weekly high jump videos so that I can critique them personally. This allows us to track improvements and make real-time adjustments to accelerate progress. Phase 3, personalized training plan. With solid mechanics in place, we now create a customized strength and conditioning program. This includes writing out their full training plan, from the weight training, from the plyometrics, to the sprinting. They get it all specifically from my 10 plus years in the sport, whether I was competing at Auburn University, competing for Team USA, or even the things that I learned early on in my career. Your athlete will receive a completely individualized training program that complements their jumping technique, something generic programs simply cannot provide. Phase 4, check-in system, which happens throughout the program. So our comprehensive check-in system includes weekly progress tracking, monthly performance assessments, and direct access to me for any questions or any technique assessments that you guys may need. This constant feedback loop allows us to make sure your athlete stays on track and address problems before they become habits. Phase 5, the scholarship advantage. For athletes jumping at a recruitment level heights, we begin by directly reaching out to college coaches in your target programs. We implement follow-up systems to make sure your athlete stays top of mind for these coaches. We also provide guidance to securing official visits and also scholarship negotiations. Throughout this entire process, your athlete has direct access to me for personalized feedback and a supportive community of like-minded athletes. The exact system I've used to help dozens of jumpers add inches to their PRs and earn college scholarship opportunities. Let's talk about what's really keeping you from making this decision. Fear. Not just any fear, but the specific fear that you'll invest in this program and your athlete won't get the results that we're promising. That fear is completely valid. As parents, we've all invested in things for our children that didn't pan out as we hoped. Maybe it was another training program, a sports camp, or some piece of equipment that was supposed to be game-changing, but ended up in the garage collecting dust. Those experiences create hesitation, and rightfully so. Here's what I want you to know. I felt the same fear as an athlete. When I was struggling to improve every new approach, every piece of advice, came with the fear that it wouldn't work, that I remained stuck while others passed me by. The parents I work with often share how they feared their investment wouldn't pay off. They worried their child wasn't disciplined enough, that online coaching couldn't work, or that their athlete had already reached their potential. Then when they joined the program, they watched their athletes clear heights that they never thought were possible. They saw college coaches reaching out with interest, and they witnessed not just athletic improvement, but newfound confidence that carried into every area of their life. The greater risk isn't that you'll invest and not see results. The greater risk is continuing on this current path, knowing that without specialized guidance, significant improvement is unlikely. Consider the real cost of not acting. Potential scholarship opportunities lost, the confidence your child could gain, the pride of breaking school records, and the doors that college track and field could open. Your fear of making the wrong decision is the sign of a caring, responsible parent. But sometimes the most responsible decision is taking a calculated risk on something that could significantly impact your child's future. I can't promise that this will be easy, but I can promise that the system works when followed and that I'll be there supporting your child every step of the way. So right now, you stand at a crossroads that will impact not just your child's athletic career, but potentially their entire future. Path 1. Continue as things are. Your child keeps working hard, but without specialized guidance, they make minimal progress at best and remain frustrated at the same heights that they couldn't clear. And watch as other athletes who are not necessarily more talented, but better coached, receive the college attention that they've always wanted. When they graduate high school and over their 4 years in college, as a parent, you're looking at paying for their full tuition over a 4-year period and having a child who's wondering what could have been. Path 2. Join the High Jump Blueprint program. Your athlete gets expert coaching from someone who's been exactly where they are right now and was able to reach the highest levels of the sport. Your child makes breakthrough progress, not just in inches cleared, but in confidence gained. College coaches take notice, scholarship offers arrive. Now during those 4 years in college, you're watching them compete in the NCAA with their education partially or fully funded, knowing you made the decision that changed their trajectory. This isn't just about high jump. It's about who your child becomes through this process. An athlete who learned to break through barriers. A young man or woman who discovered that with the right guidance and dedication, they can achieve what once seemed impossible. The jumper who breaks school records and earns scholarships isn't born with special genes. They're created through proper guidance, consistent practice, and a proven system. The parent who makes this possible isn't just paying for a sports program. They're investing in the transformation, opportunity, and their child's future. If you're ready to take that step, click the link below, schedule a call, where we'll talk about your child's specific situation, high jump goals, and whether the high jump blueprint is the right fit for them. Don't let another season pass with unfulfilled potential. Make the decision today that your child will thank you for tomorrow.